So you bought a 2023 Maserati Grecale GT, Modena or Trofeo, and you don't know how to turn on and off the headlights, you don't know the smart gestures on the HVAC controls, how to tighten or loosen your seat bolsters using the 8-inch comfort screen. Well, I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks and Easter eggs on the 2023 Maserati Grecale, some things you need to know before you jump into your new Grecale. What's good, guys? Welcome back to Ron's Rise. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video where I'm here at Maserati Central Florida with the brand new 2023 Maserati Grecale. Now this is the Modena trim, which is the middle spec trim between the GT and Trofeo. Now today I want to help current Maserati Grecale owners or future Maserati Grecale owners to navigate the new vehicle. It's a brand new design language for Maserati, so there's a lot of new things like Easter eggs that you might need to do in order to get this car exactly where you want to get it. Yes, it's a learning curve, but that's what I'm here for, to help you guys out. Now, there's a couple of things I want to cover today, like the ambient lighting, a couple of things there, like the smart gestures and the HVAC, things like the way you get in and out of the car. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a couple of things that we need to talk about that are important. So let's get right to it. Now, if you want to program the height that your trunk opens on your Maserati Grecale, well, it's a little different than on a Levante. The Levante, the buttons are located here on Maserati's older brother SUV. But for the Grecale, since it's based off of the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Giorgio platform, we have the buttons up here. Now, as you guys can see, you have a close button and you have a close and lock button. So if you want to lock the vehicle after closing, just press that. Or if you just want to close your tailgate, just close that. Now, if I want to set the height for how high I want this going, say my garage height is not that high, or my parking garage, then you want to actually pull this down to wherever you want that height to be. So now I'm going to hold the liftgate button until I hear a couple of beeps to let me know that it is programmed to that height. So to actually put this into perspective, we're gonna even make it lower. So now you know there's a difference from when it first lifted up to where it is now. So I'm going to hold that button and the taillights flash. You heard two beeps, so now we know it's programmed there. So let's actually put it to the test. We'll press it and close it. So now when we go to open it, it should only open up to that height. Let's see. And there it is. It stopped at the height that we set it at. So it's not sky high in the air. And just to kind of show you that I wasn't lying, see, we can go up a lot higher. That's where we were before. So that is how you would program your tailgate or your new Maserati Grecale SUV. Now the Grecale is all about functionality. So when it comes to your trunk space, you can actually give this even more space. Now, the obvious choice would be folding down both seats. As you guys can see, we have a trigger for the left-hand side, trigger for the right-hand side, and if I want to do just my middle seat, there's a pull tab here, and I will push that down. If you want even more space, well, the privacy shade can go too. You can see there's a little backwards Nike S-curve to where if I pull this, all right, and then go backwards, you can see the backwards Nike S-curve there, then it will give you a little bit more space this way. Say you want to fold down all three seats and you want this out of the way because it's obstructing you. Well, you can actually pull this off. You see the kind of arrow there? You pull this backwards and this will come off as well. Now, I'm not gonna pull it all the way out, not with one hand. It might be a little bit of a struggle with holding a camera, but this whole piece will come off as well. Same with the privacy shade up top here. This is just sprung load from the plastic there, so you can actually take this down and then pull this off as well, and you have even more space and practicality when it comes to your Grecale. So again, it's very practical when it comes to the setup. Now underneath you even have a false floor that gives you a little bit more practicality because you got tools set up like your tow hook, screwdriver, and your battery is stowed away back there as well. You also have your tire inflate kit there. All right, just in case you run out of air in your tires, all right, you need to get somewhere really fast, that tire inflate kit will help you out. So again, the Grecale is just all about making life easier in a Maserati fashion. So let's talk about the doors. While getting in and out of a vehicle, yes, it's the most important thing you're gonna do, right? It should be the most simple thing you're gonna do and the most self-explanatory. Well, it is to a sense. The door handle right underneath here, open it right up, okay? But there is a reasoning why I am bringing this up. Now, the way to get out is also going to be something to get used to, and there's a few reasons. This is an electronic door mechanism to open up the door, all right? So when you're inside, you're gonna press this to open your door. And just for demonstration purposes, we will press that, and that is your door release. Now, in the case of your car losing battery, losing power, you do have a mechanical switch. Now, there's a disclaimer here, big disclaimer. When you use this mechanical switch, it disengages all of the other electronics in order to open up the door. So it kills what is the electronics throughout the car in order for you to be able to get out of the car. This is for emergency use only. All right, so in this instance that you would have to use this, you would think that the car is already dead, the battery is already dead, or the electronics already don't work. So you don't want to use this on a working car rather than a car that already the electronics are bad. So you don't have to necessarily pull this and worry about it because electronics are already, in dire need of help, to where if you pull that, it's going to kind of shut things down, and you're going to need to take it to a dealer and service to get it fixed. Keep that in mind. That's a disclaimer. Do not pull that unless the car's electronics or the battery is already dead, or you really need to in this emergency. That's when you pull that to get out. Now the mirror controls, it took me a little getting used to, because while this neat dial here looks beautiful, I had to realize that in order to actually get back here to fold the mirrors in, it's not an actual button, but it looks like one. It actually is in the shape of a button, and there's a little indentation. But what you do is twist this all the way back, and then the mirrors fold in. All right, so if you wanted to do that, switch it back, and you guys can see now I can use the left-hand mirror, and I can use this toggle, all right, for the driver's side, and I can adjust it by using the toggle. All right, if I want to go and just put it right there in the center, that means we're not doing anything. And then to the right, I can do the passenger side toggle. But in order to fold the mirrors in, you need to go all the way back, and it might feel like you're breaking the button, but you're not. It just goes backwards like that, and the mirror goes in. Now, if you're wondering, why'd you go all the way back and not just move it backwards? Well, that doesn't work. Doing this does not work. I'm pulling it back now, and as you guys can see, it is not working to fold in the mirror. So you actually have to twist the dial all the way around to fold your mirrors in. Also, on the door switches here, you can see the child safety lock, and you can see the window locks. Now, another thing you can do is look here. This cover will actually show us where the actual physical key would go if you needed to get through the door there for the child safety lock. Same in the rear. You have that same keyhole cover there. You take that off, then you'll be able to see somewhat a keyhole there, and that is for getting through child safety. Now, a couple more functionality features when it comes to the Grecale. Well, you have your extended thigh support here. If I were to press that, you can see the thigh piece comes out. Really helpful, all right? And then you do also have your telescopic steering wheel. So there's a button right underneath here, all right? So if I were to press that, you can see that it pulls the steering wheel down, push it, steering wheel goes up. Now, obviously, if I push it in, the steering wheel goes in, and then we can bring it out by that way. So that button is right underneath there. Again, just a little bit more extra practicality when it comes to getting comfortable and being able to do it with the push of a button. So with this new design language, Maserati has given us 33 inches of screen real estate. So the functionality is all through the screens. There's not a lot of physical buttons throughout the cabin besides on the steering wheel. All right, all backlit, as you guys can see when it comes to the steering wheel, when it comes to the window switches and door locks, it's all backlit. So a lot of technology and a big learning curve when it comes to the new Grecale GT. Now, I've done other videos where I've deep dived into Maserati's MIA system, or Maserati Intelligent Assistant, which has been on Maserati models for the past few years. So there's a couple videos dedicated to that specifically. Really what I want to focus on is the steering wheel here, the TFT screen or the digital speedo, and the 8-inch comfort screen. Now, the first thing we need to know is how to even get in gear when we first jump in this Grecale, because, yeah, there's no gear select here. All right, so right there in the center between the 10-inch screen there, or the infotainment screen, and the 8-inch comfort screen there are your drive mode selectors. As you guys can see, we're in park. If I put my foot on the brake, we're going to reverse. Reverse brings up our surround view camera 360. I press N, we're in neutral. And I press D, we're in drive. Well, I didn't press it hard enough. And that's the learning curve again. But I want to go into manual mode because I have this pretty cool paddle shifter on each side here, and I want to actually use those. Well, I just press manual mode there, all right, or press the D and M again, and I go into manual mode, and now I'm using my column mounted paddle shifters. Really cool, right? P, and then we're in park. Now that park is not the only P you'll be pushing. Your parking sensors is actually here as well to turn them on and off. And then right here is our electric parking brake. If I put my foot on the brake and I push it down, it disengages it. And then if I want to engage it, I'll lift it up and you guys can see that the light is on. All right, so those are your P's when it comes to parking, parking sensors, and your parking brake. And you love start-stop mode, right? You know, when you stop at a light and, you know, the car engine shuts off and everything like that in order to conserve fuel and emissions and all that stuff. Well, if you don't like it, you can press that button to turn it off. All right, so that button is actually in the screen this year. Same with the hill descent control, all right, and your ESC off. And then if you want to turn the screen off entirely, you will press the power button there, so you don't have to worry about that. Same with the top screen there, so you can have this completely black and just the drive mode selectors illuminated. Now on the right hand side of the steering wheel, you have your adaptive cruise control, or your cruise control setup overall is this complete side here, all right? So you have that, but your lane keep assist is actually the silver button on the end here. You guys can kind of see it, but the camera won't focus on it as much, but you guys can see the lane keep assist is there. So you do have all your driver assistance here with the lane keep assist and your drive modes here, to where if I turn this, you guys can see we're in GT mode. If I turn it again, we're in comfort mode. And then if I go all the way to the right, we're in sport mode, all right? So your drive mode selector right here on this side. On this side, you have your engine start-stop button. So if I turn it off, you'll see everything shut off. You'll see the nice Grecale insignia there. And then put my foot on the brake, and we're back to life. Now you also see some controls over here, like your hands-free controls on this right-hand side. And then for my speedo here, right here, the left-hand side of the speedo is configurable. So all I need to do is press this here, and it will bring up the different menus that I have for the speedo. And you can see them change as I continue to press that button. So you can get things like your trip, you can get things like your tires, you can get your tire pressure there. I mean, you can just have it right open there for the driver assistance, or you can have your device that is synced like Bluetooth. I mean, your G meter. There's tons of things you can do when it comes to the speedo. Now, if I want to actually change the complete layout of the digital gauges, well, I would just use this menu button here, and you will see that my recent calls are there and my head-up display is on. That's cool, but I want to change this complete layout. So I'm going to press that button, and then I'm going to go to cluster layout by using the arrow here, and then I'm going to choose which one I want after I choose. Let's see, I think I'm going to go with evolved. So I press OK here, and now it changes to evolved. So let's see what evolved looks like. Well, it's a completely open setup for the cluster. All right, so if I want to change it again, because that looks cool, well, let's go even more open by cluster layout, and we'll go to relaxed. Now look at it, it's one full piece. Can you guys see that? I know the sun is not giving me the best look, but as you guys can see, it's completely opened in relaxed mode. And let's see how well we can see it from here. Yep, there you go, completely open in relaxed mode. Or I can go to, we'll do the menu again. We'll go to cluster layout. All right, we'll go to classic. And then you have your two speedos there as we were before. So again, it's something, you know, it's a little configurable when it comes to that. Let's talk about our lighting setup. Yes, on our stock there, we do have our brights, all right? But when it comes to traditional lighting, you're actually using the comfort screen here. like hazards, as you guys can see there. Pretty self-explanatory, but when you want to actually see your headlights, your DRLs, everything like that, and control those, you're going to hit the lighting's there, and now you can see your vehicle, and it displays what we're in as an auto right now, so you don't see anything illuminated. But if I were to press that there, you can see the DRLs and the headlights illuminated. All right, so the LED lights are all illuminated, but if I press that there, it's just the daytime running lights. All right, so you can see the top and bottom illuminated there. And then if I wanted it all off, no matter what, then I turn it off and I'm creeping. Now when it comes to the Grecale, not all Grecales have ambient lighting. They will all have this screen, but on this Motor trim, we do have the ambient lighting set up. Now you guys can change the brightness here, or you can change the temperature. So you can go from warm to neutral to cold. Now one thing you cannot change is the actual color unless you turn the drive mode to sport. Now it's in sport, that goes red, and if I go to ambient, now the ambient lighting is in red. All right, so it changes the whole feel of the cabin to red because sport mode is red for Maserati when it comes to everything else in the cabin. Really cool, but just to keep in mind, that's the only way you're gonna get that color. Now, be curious to see on the Trofeo models if it turns yellow, because yellow is the Trofeo colorway. So something to keep in mind. Now the Grecale actually looks very beautiful in this Rosso interior with perforated leather. These sport seats actually have bolster adjustment by electronics, and you guessed where? The screen. So if I click on seats, you will see that we can do our seat settings. All right, so wherever we want our seat presets to be, whether close to the steering wheel or far away from, we have 3 different presets we can do for that. But if I were to choose seats, you can see that I can actually tighten the bolster to hug more around me, or make it a little bit loose around me so I can slide around in the seat a little bit. So this is really good for, anybody who wants to get in and feel more comfortable sitting in the seats. And it's not just for the driver, it's for the passenger as well, so you can do both. All right, which is really cool that both seats actually have this setting. Now this is for the sport seats, so keep in mind that if you want to do this, you have to have the sport seat set up in order to have the bolster adjustments. Really cool thing. Now these also are heated and ventilated seats, so if you were to go to climate, you will see things like that. If I were to exit out, you can see that we have all of our climate controls for the seats. You can see heat preset there and ventilate preset, all right, for both. Now, with that said, you also have the heated steering wheel to show that off as well. But you can also go to your rear seats there, and you can do it this way too. So a couple of different ways you can set things up when it comes to the seating arrangement. Going back to climate control, well, you can actually do different settings for your auto on your climate control. So yes, auto means auto, but you can have auto intense, where you can see all the air, how much intensity it is, and where it's coming out of. You can also do normal, all right, or you can do gentle. So auto climate control, but to a certain sense. There's levels to how you can do your climate. It's really cool. Just a small thing, just that kind of helps out in different situations when it comes to living. Now, also when it comes to the climate, you have something cool called smart gestures, which if I wanted to just quickly turn up the fan speed or turn up and down the temperature on the car, I can do that without looking and being distracted. Maserati thought about everything here because you're going to be focused on the road. So if you know what gestures to use, you can do this in your sleep. So if I want to turn up the heat or down on the AC, I can do it just that way. It doesn't have to necessarily be in that specific area. You can see where the cutoff is for the driver's side versus where the cutoff is for the passenger side. All right, so it knows what I want to do, and it will automatically do that for me. Also, same with the fan speed. If I wanted to turn up the fan speed, go to the right, go to the left. So it's just really cool that you don't necessarily need to be looking at the HVAC controls in order to do that on your Maserati Grecale. The Maserati famed clock. We know this being a mechanical clock, but now it has gone digital for 2023. So let's check that out by going to clock, and you guys can see Then we have a couple different styles when it comes to our clock and what we can do with this digital gauge. So we're on we're on Sport now. So if we go to Classic, it shows you in real time what we're going to look at up here, which is a really cool thing. And then we go to Design, and it gives you that aspect. All right, so different perspective. Porsche fans are definitely going to like the Sport there if you're coming from a Macan. All right, and then you can do other things besides a clock. You can make this a compass. All right, if you guys are lost or in the wilderness, there's your compass. You can go to pedals, and it will show you your power and braking. And this is in real time. I'm going to step on the brake, and you can see the braking power. I'm going to step on the gas, and you can see your power. Really cool to see that in real time. We're going to go back to clock, and then we're going to go to G meter, and that's when you're actually driving the car to when you're braking and accelerating. You'll be able to see the G forces. So really cool, intuitive design, just to kind of give you some more customization into your Maserati Grecale. Now you're probably wondering, where are my radio controls on this thing? Well, you have a couple different ways you can change your radio stations. Volume right here on the very right hand side, where you can control it there. Now I know you're wondering, why do I have to reach all the way over here to turn up and down my volume? You don't necessarily have to do that. On the back of the steering wheel, you can see right here, there are buttons to change your station on one side and turn up and down your volume on the other side. So on the backhand side of the steering wheel, you have actual buttons, physical buttons, to change your radio station and turn up and down the volume. So it's not just with the 8-inch comfort screen, because you could see that right away and think that's the only way to do it. It's actually in the back of the steering wheel as well. I didn't want to do a big deep dive into the MIA system, but now in the Grecale, you have a lot more presets up top for things like hotkeys, like the surround view camera. If I were to press that camera there, and of course, there we go, thought I messed it up. You can see that I have a hotkey to the surround view camera. So before I even start moving, I don't need to put it in reverse. I can do that there. Now there's another way to do that. If I go to vehicle, all right, you will see vehicle stuff here, but I want to go to controls. Then I have my surround view camera there as well. And you can see the camera as well. So even if you don't have it on the hotkey, you can do it there. But you can set up things like your profile. You can set up your command like, hey Maserati, and it's set up with Alexa. That is your voice assistant, which will turn up and down the climate for you. They can take you to a specific spot on your GPS. Hey Maserati will do a lot of things for you hands-free. Really cool to have that media setup. Now another thing I need to bring up on how to Grecale, if your battery does die, well, you're going to need to communicate with the car to start it because of electronics, right? We have the key fob here, which outside of this plastic is a more of a rectangle shape, as you guys can see here. There is a spot in the armrest here, and you guys can see it, where it shows where you will set your key fob in order to communicate with your car. That is the RF transmitter, and that will enable you to communicate with the car with the key in order to start it up. Okay, so you're not stranded necessarily. You can actually get in by using that there. All right, guys, so did I help you out today? Did you find out some things about the Grecale that you didn't know? Did it help you with programming something, setting something, changing something? Let me know down in the comments below. And if there was something I missed or something you don't know how to do, drop that comment down below and I will be able to answer it, or anyone else will be able to answer it for you guys so you can figure out how to Maserati Grecale. Now, with that said, if you guys did enjoy the video today, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Giving the video a like will help get it up in the rankings. More people can see it, and we can have a big discussion on how to use and own a Maserati Grecale. Now, with that said, if you guys want to help further support the channel, always check the links down in the description below. I have a one-time link donation for my PayPal, my Cash App, my Venmo, and my Patreon, just in case you guys want to donate an extra $1 or $2 to the channel. I appreciate that extra love, guys. Thank you so much. You guys can also check out the Ron's Rise merch, where you can get t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, everything Ron's Rise is there. And my social media links are in the description as well. Now make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, but click the notification bell so you don't miss one video. And with that said, you guys be blessed. Have a great day. And we will talk to you guys in the next Ron's Rise video. Peace.